This is BRICS Global Television Network's weekly news roundup, and we'll begin with the headlines. The BRICS Summit 2024 is concluded in Kazan, Russia. Russian lawmakers approve a budget that increases defense spending by nearly 30%. More than 1 million people relocated as Cyclone Dana hits India. And China's inaugural reusable and returnable test satellite returns to Earth. The BRICS Summit 2024, held in Kazan, Russia, has drawn to a close. The Middle East conflict and Russia's war with Ukraine have been hot topics of discussion. Russian President Vladimir Putin met with Palestinian leader Mahmoud Abbas. That's their second meeting since August. Putin expressed strong support for a swift end to the bloodshed in Gaza. On the Ukraine conflict, Putin said he welcomed sincere comments made by Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump about bringing an end to Russia's conflict with Ukraine. Trump spoke about his desire to do everything to end the conflict in Ukraine, and Putin says he thinks he's being sincere. Of course, Russia welcomes statements like this, whoever they're from. Chinese President Xi Jinping urged emerging economies to be a stabilizing force amid serious challenges facing the world. He called for enhanced global security governance, a ceasefire in Gaza, and measures to prevent further conflict in Lebanon. Around 24 world leaders attended the BRICS Summit this year, including 4 of the 5 original members. That's Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Brazilian President Lula da Silva did attend, but virtually. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi called for a peaceful and prompt resolution to the Ukraine conflict.
We have maintained ongoing communication regarding the situation between Russia and Ukraine. We believe that conflicts should be settled through peaceful means. We fully support initiatives aimed at swiftly restoring peace and stability.
Meanwhile, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa said the bloc is advancing from strength to strength.
And would like to congratulate you for hosting and being the president of BRICS, having taken over from us. As South Africa, we are sure that you will be able to chair our meeting and our summit so that BRICS, as the enlarged BRICS body, will continue growing from strength to strength.
And Chinese President Xi Jinping hailed his country's friendship with Russia.
The world is undergoing profound changes unseen in a century, and the international situation is becoming chaotic and intertwined. But I firmly believe that the profound friendship between China and Russia, from generation to generation, will not change. The responsibility of serving the people will not change.
The newly expanded BRICS group includes Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, and the UAE, and all these countries' leaders have been participating in this year's summit, while other leaders have been looking to strengthen their relationships with the group and were also in attendance, and they include Turkey and Vietnam. The BRICS Plus group now accounts for approximately 45% of the global population and 25% of the world's gross domestic product. Over the past 3 decades, BRICS countries, China and Brazil, have signed multiple deals in the space sector at the recently concluded International Astronautical Congress in Milan. CGTN's Wu Lei caught up with Marco Antonio Chamon, the president of the Brazilian Space Agency, and he spoke about the potential of future cooperation between the 2 BRICS countries.
President Marco Chamon, great to be with you here in Milan. What are some of the latest trends that you have seen and being impressed with during this event?
Very impressed here is the blossoming of the industry in space, the private industry, the private business we have here. One thing that is very impressive is space stations. We have a lot of proposals of private space stations doing by many companies here. I saw many companies providing complete solutions for small satellite constellations. In fact, a real revolution in space.
China and Brazil have collaborated in the space sector for over 35 years, with 6 China-Brazil Earth resource satellites being launched. So what can we expect for the collaboration between these two countries in the future?
We have today 2 satellites in orbit operating, CBERS 4 and 4A, that we share in terms of data and control. But now we are moving forward for other technologies. One, radar is very useful too for land imaging, and meteorology that is very important to us in terms of monitoring and forecasting of natural disasters. We will discuss and we will act in terms of lunar or space exploration outside the orbit of Earth with China. So it's a really fantastic and very fruitful collaboration that we have between Brazil and China.
Brazil and China are both founding members of the BRICS bloc. These countries have signed on to cooperate on the remote sensing constellation program. How important is this program for future collaboration in the space sector among BRICS countries?
We need more and more collaboration, and I think BRICS and other multilateral mechanisms, BRICS in particular, is very important for that. Remote sensing agreement that we have signed among BRICS countries is a very important sign that we can and we do things together. But we have already implemented some projects inside this agreement, and very successful. Training and capacity building for the use of the data. I think that the future for BRICS and BRICS Plus is to expand our collaboration in remote sensing, including other technologies and capacity building.
China's inaugural reusable and returnable test satellite successfully landed back on Earth, bringing with it seeds that were processed in orbit. This significant achievement aims to offer a novel approach to addressing global food security challenges from space.
The China National Space Agency handed over payloads from the Shijian-19 satellite on Thursday, marking a significant milestone for China's first reusable and returnable test satellite. Launched on September the 27th, the Shijian-19 spent 2 weeks in orbit, achieving remarkable breakthroughs in reusability and a damage-free recovery. The Shijian-19 satellite carries a payload of 20 categories, including staple and economic crops, microbial breeding experiments, and space technology tests. The platform is also open to international partners like Pakistan and Thailand.
This time is the first time that Thailand has bioscience research in space. Chinese space agency, they're actually the only place that have returnable, reusable satellite. So we can send the seed to germinate in space, right, and then return on Earth, and then so we can have the plant material for future analysis.
Back on Earth, the Chinese Academy of Agricultural Sciences is exploring how cosmic radiation can enhance genetic traits.
For example, Thai rice is renowned for its exceptional fragrance. By sending seeds to space, we can unlock new genetic resources. This can ensure the preservation of the seed's superior qualities while also boosting its resilience and yield.
The Shijian-19 satellite effectively used its advanced returnable platform and was able to shorten breeding periods while also increasing its payload capacity. It completed nearly 1,000 space breeding experiments, seeking cosmic solutions for global food security issues and sustainable agriculture. Wan Hongjia, CGTN, Beijing.
In India, Cyclone Dana's made landfall on the east coast, uprooting trees and power lines and causing significant damage, particularly in the coastal town of Puri. Officials relocated over 1 million people in Odisha and West Bengal to storm shelters as the cyclone arrived just after midnight earlier this week. The storm generated gusts of wind up to 120 kilometers an hour and caused sea levels to surge by 1.15 meters, flooding coastal areas. Although there have been no reported casualties, extensive damage includes those uprooted trees and destroyed makeshift shops, with hundreds of homes suffering roof damage. Major airports in Kolkata were shut down due to the heavy rains. Well, experts are warning that climate change is intensifying storms, leading to stronger winds and increased rainfall. Improved forecasting and evacuation strategies have significantly lowered death tolls compared to previous cyclones like May's cyclone Ramal, which resulted in numerous fatalities. In Brazil, 250 fans of Uruguayan football club Peñarol are in police custody in Rio de Janeiro following riots before a Copa Libertadores semi-final match against Botafogo. The supporters were accused of vandalizing businesses and vehicles, with reports of burning vehicles and the seizure of a gun. Video footage showed fans throwing bottles at police, and at least one bus was torched. Local shopkeeper Tadeu da Silva has expressed disappointment, saying they came to make trouble. It's very sad. Rio's witnessed violence during last Libertadores matches, with foreign fans often criticizing police for their heavy-handed tactics. Notably, in 2019, clashes on a beach led to multiple arrests, as well as a fan's death from injuries. Peñarol, a prominent club in the Copa Libertadores, has a history of success in the tournament, which is South America's counterpart to Europe's Champions League. Coming up, BRICS Plus Business News.
Climate change, yay! We're actually the ones who are doing the change, and how we can actually affect it in a way that is positive. The common narrative so far has largely been about carbon in the atmosphere. But what we're also going to do is a little bit of environmental engineering, whereby we are going to change the nature of how the sun enters into our system. So what happens in that? We're going to put back the biomass, number one, and the biomass absorbs carbon. So there's a lot that's going to happen when we're going to start planting trees.
Russian lawmakers have approved a budget that increases defense spending by nearly 30% for next year, reflecting the Kremlin's focus on its offensive in Ukraine. The new budget will allocate 13.5 trillion rubles to defense in 2025, surpassing funding for welfare and education combined. This increase brings total defense and security spending to around 40% of Russia's predicted total government expenditure of 41.5 trillion rubles. Well, the approval comes as Russian forces make gains in the eastern parts of Ukraine. Although the government highlighted investments in social welfare alongside military spending, the current budget prioritizes defense, with spending on national defense more than double that of social policy initiatives. The draft budget will undergo a second reading on November the 14th. The IMF seeking more information about a proposed cross-border payment system discussed by BRICS countries aimed at increasing non-dollar transactions. That's according to Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva. The BRICS summit in Kazan coincided with the IMF and World Bank meetings in Washington. Originally formed in 2009, BRICS has expanded to include nations Iran, Egypt and the UAE, now accounting for a significant portion of global economic output. During the summit, Russia secured a declaration to enhance correspondent banking networks with BRICS and facilitate settlements in local currencies through the BRICS cross-border payments initiatives. This initiative aims to provide an alternative to the SWIFT payment system, which Russia was banned from using after its 2022 invasion of Ukraine began. Georgieva noted that while the concept of a payment system among countries is not new, the IMF needs further details to assess its viability and implications. Ethiopia, meanwhile, is positive about the new development bank and how it will provide a more flexible approach to development financing. Baharu Yednekachu, Director of TV News and Current Affairs at Fana Broadcasting Corporation in Ethiopia, says that unlike loans from the IMF and the World Bank, the NDB funding doesn't impose policy changes that could adversely affect Ethiopia's population.
Ethiopia, as emerging economy, we take a loan from IMF and World Bank. So when you want to take, let me mention some experience like just this year, 2024. So we are negotiating with World Bank and IMF, and you know the things they asked for us to restructure our economy. The government just stop subsidizing the low-income population because of their consensus, because they are pushing like the private sectors on privatization. I know privatization is a good thing, but they are thinking about their corporates, not about Ethiopian, small scale industries or enterprises. So they are pushing us like towards the edge just to take that dollar. So we need the dollar, it's obvious, but to take that dollar, you need to do a lot of things against your policy, against your population. But when you come to NDB, no need to, go against your policies or against your population. The demand of the population is just to grow, just to develop, just to, grow their income. So NDP will help us like with these things. And also Ethiopia decides not to take any commercial loans. So we need these concessional loans. So you can pay back like with a long term with a very small interest rate. So NDB is a best option related to this. I know it's in early stages the bank is not as such strong, but we can make it strong. We can contribute for this bank so that they can finance our infrastructure demand. And also the good thing is, as Yasmin mentioned, de-dollarization is, something we want just to reduce dependency on the Western system. So for that, we can have these currency swaps. We can have the money we need with our own local currency. So it's a very good thing for Ethiopia. That's why we are pushing towards to join to NDB and working together with NDB.
In Brazil, there's been a significant increase in grape exports in September, reaching 3.17 thousand tons, according to COMEX stat data. This marks a whopping 283% rise from August, though it represents a 6% decline compared to the same period last year. Analysts attribute this year's low export volume to a grape shortage in the São Francisco Valley, where producers are managing supply between domestic and international markets. Well, looking ahead, there are optimistic expectations for October exports, particularly in the latter half, as harvest volumes are set to rise. Since the start of the export season, Brazilian grapes have enjoyed favourable pricing despite some quality concerns. Overall, stakeholders anticipate robust returns this year, reflecting a positive outlook for the grape industry. China's housing markets showing signs of recovery this year thanks to new central government policies aimed at stabilizing the declining real estate sector. These practical measures have sparked strong growth in city housing markets, as reported by Zhu Yixing.
With the latest guidance from the central government and the local implementation of preferential policies issued in September, during the National Day holiday in the first week of October, real estate markets in various Chinese cities saw a big surge in transactions. Several cities introduced local policies to drive growth. In Shanghai, restrictions on non-local residents were eased, allowing more people to purchase homes, regardless of one's household registration. Guangzhou fully lifted housing purchase restrictions, resulting in a sharp increase in home buying in October.
The removal of restrictions aims to increase market liquidity, making it easier for residents to upgrade their homes. Lifting price caps and collars helps bring real estate prices back to their natural levels, giving market forces more flexibility to influence pricing.
This week, the central government reiterated preferential policies to lower the down payment ratios and reduce interest rates on housing mortgages, continuing to stimulate market demand and boost confidence. Not only have these policies benefited first-tier cities, but second-tier cities are also seeing noticeable impacts. In the central region, major cities like Wuhan and Zhengzhou have experienced strong surges in buyers inspecting properties and transactions. During the first half of October, Zhengzhou recorded over 3,700 new home transactions, a 20.4% increase year-on-year.
After the new policy was issued, we quickly launched more supplies. The demand was overwhelming. During the National Day holiday, inspections increased by 30%, leading to near sellout.
The National Day policy boosted the confidence in the market. For these projects, both the visitor traffic and number of transactions increased 1.5 times compared to September.
Industry insiders attribute this resurgence to policy incentives, which have reactivated dormant demand in the housing market. Home buyers have expressed similar opinions.
With lowered mortgage rates and reduced down payments, our financial burdens become lower. Also, our child is going to primary school next year. It feels like the right time to buy our first home.
Recently, the down payment ratio has dropped to 15%, which is very important to us. In addition, we have made up our mind that we really want to have our own apartment. It is a rigid need for us.
The central government's new policies also focus on reducing transaction fees for selling old homes to buy new ones, encouraging homeowners to upgrade their living conditions. There are also financial measures in place to address liquidity issues for developers and ensuring the completion of housing projects.
By addressing liquidity issues for developers, these policies can help reduce wasted land resources and strengthen market confidence.
Experts say the long-term goal of these policies is to create a stable, balanced, and more sustainable real estate market. As these measures take effect, they're expected to ease financial pressures for ordinary citizens, as well as contribute to the long-term stability and health of the Chinese economy. 这里是 CGTN 郑州河南 Province.
Saudi Arabia has ramped up efforts to attract up to 5 million Chinese visitors by 2030. By simplifying travel and enhancing cultural exchanges, the kingdom hopes to boost its tourism sector.
At Beijing's iconic Temple of Heaven, Saudi Arabia's Minister of Tourism Ahmed Al-Khatib, along with Chinese Tourism Authority leaders and actor Jackie Chan, inaugurated the opening of Saudi Travel Expo.
We are working closely at all levels with the Chinese government and the private sector. And as I said, China is a main trade partner, and therefore we are unlocking and exploring and elevating the culture exchange. And I think this is an invitation for all the Chinese to come and visit Saudi Arabia.
Minister Al-Khatib highlighted his country's substantial investments in infrastructure, including airports, roads, and internet services, to ensure a premium travel experience for Chinese travelers.
My friend, the Minister of Technology and Information, he's working with Huawei always, and therefore we always work with the technology companies, and we work with them in the tourism sector. The mobile penetration in Saudi Arabia is 120%. This tells you how advanced our nation is when it comes to technology. Like you, the Chinese are very advanced when it comes to technology. You can pay with your mobile, and you can find everything in your mobile, and therefore, you know, when you come to Saudi, and you can order anything in your mobile.
Similar experience.
It is a very, very similar experience.
China's travel sector has taken note of Saudi Arabia's efforts to position itself as a high-end travel destination in the Middle East.
As I know, they have a lot of luxury hotels there. They're going to have 50 luxury hotels in the coming years. Yeah, they've invested a lot. They have the 2030 vision, so they're developing a lot of, new hotels, new luxury hotels in some hot destination, for example, like Aula, like Riyadh, like Red Sea, etc. Yeah.
The travel festival in the Temple of Heaven, running until October 26, features interactive booths that showcase Saudi Arabia's iconic regions, including Diriyah, Al-Baha, and Al-Luna.
Al-Ula was a very important stopover in the Silk Road. In terms of cultural significance, Al-Ula attracted interest of the Chinese visitors. Actually, 3.1% from our visitation last year, which was 263,000 visitors, came from Asia Pacific, mainly from China. And very soon, there will be storytellers who actually communicate with Chinese visitors in Chinese language.
To enrich the visitor experience, Saudi local tourism authorities have invested in unique contemporary art installations near historic sites in the desert.
Once you are in the middle of the desert in Al-Ula and turn your head right, you will find maybe an inscription dated to 3,000 years ago. And then if you turn your head left, you might see a piece of art. This is a place, or this is something that you cannot find elsewhere in the world, and this is why we say why Al-Ula is unique.
Over the past year, the number of Chinese travelers to Saudi Arabia has more than doubled, solidifying China's position as one of Saudi Arabia's top inbound travel markets. Zheng Junfeng, CGTN, Beijing.
And finally, we take a look at a drama titled Dynamic Pingtan. The show has been staged in more than 50 cities in China over recent years. But what is it about this drama that keeps the theatres packed?
The tale of Dynamic Pingtan is set on Pingtan Island in Fujian Province. The love story of Prince Bailong and the sea maiden Pingtan Lan unfolds against the background of their struggle against foreign invaders. It also shows the ambition of Chinese dancer Yang Liping in bringing China's ocean culture to the stage.
I have a profound respect and love for our ancient culture, especially the black lion heads and the Tengpai dance rooted in Pingtan's natural environment and culture. This isn't just a dance drama, it's a magical journey through our ancient culture.
Featuring a number of visually stunning dance scenes, the production interweaves China's intangible cultural heritage while evoking maritime mythology in a highly atmospheric setting. The dance drama also draws on auspicious symbols like the qilin or Chinese unicorn, alongside other cultural icons like Chinese dragons, puppetry, and the art of face changing, all meticulously presented to evoke an authentic Oriental allure.
There are numerous costumes in the show. Traditional, fashionable, oriental. We've created a unified style based on these three keywords. Ultimately, we aim to convey a sense of mystery. It's not about religion. It's more of a reverence for the heavens and the earth.
Those aged from 18 to 30 make up about 60% of the audiences. From its elaborate costumes and props to the folklore and stories depicted, the production embodies modern Oriental aesthetics, while paying homage to China's traditional culture, drawing a large fan base among young audiences. Li Qiong, CGTN.
That's your BRICS Plus Roundup for this week. And we're on social media. Remember to subscribe so you're first in line to get the latest updates. From the BGTN team, thanks for watching.